Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, it's that time of the month again. It's time for the March 2023 tier list, the all-rounded tier list made for all of you beautiful sons of a bitches out there. And with today's video, I do want to make clear that this particular tier list is designed for the entire game. Now, I do understand that tier lists can be very challenging to hone in on what characters do because there are so many different game modes. But in today's video, we will be trying to focus on all game modes, excluding PvP. I do have my own tier list for PvP. I think PvP is a whole different playstyle compared to the rest of the game. Whilst, yes, Xeno is very different to Treasure Map, you're still tapping. Like, you're still playing the game in a very similar way, using specials, 6 units on a team. Very different to what Pirate Rumble actually does. So, in today's video, we are breaking down all the characters in the game, all the SUGO Fest, and adding all the new characters to the list. So, we did have a bunch of new characters down here, being the level limit break batch of Carrot, Jack, Dofi. Turns out Dofi got his level limit break now. I had him on a level limit break tier, that's my bad. Brooke, Sabo, and Lucy, as well as 6+ of Shanks' crew, as well as Hawkins and Killer. Now, I did bring Uta down here because we can all agree that, like, this Uta and that Uta, they're the same. Like, that's the same. That's my top 10. Like, you guys get the gist of it. But if you guys haven't checked out the tier list, I'll leave a link in the description below, as well as a link to the tier list maker and the database. Big shout out to them for the images provided. But if you guys disagree with my tier list, let me know in the comment section below. If you agree with the tier list, let me know in the comment section below. Because remember, this is my personal opinion, just playing the game and trying to give you an idea of what characters you guys should be looking at leveling up and maxing for your regular play. That includes Treasure Map, that includes Arenas, that includes Forests, Garbs Challenges, Kazuna, 10-star Kazuna, Super Boss, like all areas of the game that involve 6 characters on a team, and you have to use specials and tap. That's the basis of today's tier list. So hopefully it helps you guys out if you are a newer player or a mid-game player. If you do enjoy the video, belt the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the big red subscribe button. As you can see, this is my top 10, and honestly, I don't think anything's going to change in my top 10. I think as of the last Super Boss, everyone here sort of shone in the way that they would. I don't think there are many or if any changes. The strength team was still very, very good. Roger, honestly, gotten more stonks. Like, he got very, very good for this particular Super Boss. Even Nami, with, like, them trying to make Nami very hard to use, she still turned out to be, like, one of the best characters for Super Boss, and she still stays as my best unit in the game. Uta gets second because she can be used in multiple different ways. Roger, Whitebeard, chuck them on any team. They make any team that much better. Straw Hat Crew for new players and mid-game players, they're probably your best option as a captain, making every buff rainbow, and their special being so valuable for damage output for majority of the game. You are going to see a lot of value with this particular unit. This Luffy is very, very good. I love this Luffy. Yamato dropped off a little bit this month for me, but she's still very powerful. Kaido, I'm telling you, this Kaido, once we get Dex content, he's going to make an absolute resurgence. Laura is incredibly powerful, very easy to get super tandem. This Luffy from the film Red, Super Sugo, very, very good. And for new players and mid-game players, and Grand Voyage especially, Ace Yamato is so freaking valuable. Now, Ace Yamato showed their worth in Super Boss, and I've been saying it all along, but no one has been listening. People have been discrediting what this unit can do. They are still very, very good. Them and 6+ Roger, they're still very, very good for some of that endgame content. As for Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo, they probably lost a little bit of value with the release of Sabo for the quick team, but what these guys provide shooters across the board in every other aspect is just, it's unmatched. Shanks, whilst he's slow in pretty much all other content besides Super Boss, like, he's just fantastic if there is no full immunity. Plus, full, like, Super Boss, like, this man is still a god. As everyone else in the tier, like, everyone's still very, very good here. Rayleigh Gaban, they didn't really shine like I wanted them to. I'm probably going to drop them down to S tier all-rounder. And I'm actually going to bring up Luffy into God tier. I think Luffy definitely holds a lot more value for newer players that are happy to stall out. Like, Luffy, whilst in my opinion isn't the best of the batch, of the ASL batch, for newer and mid-game players, this unit and this unit here are going to carry you through so much of the game. K-Dad, fantastic character, removing attack down. Perispero, absolute, like, demon, but I'm going to drop to S tier all-rounder for now because didn't really see that much play besides his own Kazuna, as well as 10-star Kazuna for what he actually provides the team. He's not bad by any means, but still sort of dropped off. As for Ace, I don't like Ace. I think Ace is just not good. Like, he isn't that good. Like, I'm going to drop him, like, to the back end of S tier all-rounder. I'm not going to drop him just yet. But you bet your ass, I'm getting real close to dropping this man. Like, I don't think I like that unit as much as I thought I did initially. As for Sabo, who I actually haven't got on this tier list, because Sabo came out as the treasure map legend, and I didn't actually put Sabo on this tier. Oh, interesting. Give me one sec. So it turns out Sabo's a character we need to talk about today. I honestly think Sabo's probably the best out of the ASL batch, so I thought I included him last month, but I guess not. As for ST captains, fantastic options as like captain options. Very, very good in stuff like Grand Voyage. If you have them like Uta, they can be run in PvP as well. PvP, like I said, Grand Party and PvP, like, they should have their own sort of like tier, because they're so restrictive to what they actually do. But it does need to be like known that they are parts of the game, so they do hold a little bit of value, but not that much. S tier level Limit Break 5, these are like your best level Limit Break 5 characters. And honestly, I think I need to start being a little bit more harsh with these characters and drop some characters down, because there are a lot of characters here that we aren't using. But for now, I'm going to leave the tier list as it is. I don't think I need to be that ruthless as of now, and I do really want to try and get this video out, and I've got heaps to record, so I think we might be a bit more ruthless next month when things change a little bit. So, taking a look at the new level Limit Break batch, I have done a video on these characters, so I'm not going to touch over what they exactly do, but they all did get very good buffs. Jack did get phenomenal. Honestly, I'm still going to stick him in niche when content requires, because he's an XP boosting captain, but he went from a chain lock to a chain bounty. Why didn't they do this for Shanks crew? I don't understand why they didn't do it. They didn't do it. I'm upset. Jack's good, but he's still going into niche and content required. Same with Brook. Fantastic level Limit Break. Phenomenal level Limit Break. However, you're still only going to use this guy when you need the revive, and he actually worked great for the point farming event, because that point farming event had like the most annoying mechanics on the final stage that basically just said, I don't want to deal with this, kill me now, get rid of them, and then we'll just go from there. Great for like running V1 Kaido, so fantastic, fantastic unit. As for V1 Kaido, actually, I think I'm going to bring him down to niche when content requires. Nowadays, you're only really running him when you're required for that end of turn damage, and like this combination can be so freaking key. So ridiculous. As for Sabo, this Sabo did get a Lucy I should say, did get quite a good level Limit Break. Probably a better level Limit Break than what Sabo actually did, but not like a crazy level Limit Break. I think he's pretty good, but I don't think he's amazing. As for some of these other characters, I do want to bring like Luffy down to the B tier. I do want to bring like Jinbei down to the B tier, just because like whilst they're good, like they're not as good as some of the other characters that are up here. I'm pretty happy with the rest of that for now. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that for the rest now. Dofi was already fantastic in PvP, as you guys know, but I had him in A tier level Limit Break, and I'm actually going to put him in A tier level Limit Break. He's so good for driven teams. They basically just buffed his numbers, and most of the time you're going to be leveling this guy up for PvP. But he's very, very good. As for Carrot, this Carrot is like one of my favorite level Limit Breaks all time. When I said Carrot's going to get her level Limit Break and she's going to pop off, I meant it. Like, she's so good. She becomes captain, and she's a 5.25 times captain at level Limit Break 5 to slashers, fighters, cerebrals. I can't remember the other classes. I think it's the primary classes in cerebrals. Fighter, shooter, slasher, striker, and cerebral. And then she sets defense to 0. So when you become captain, you can bypass all defensive mechanics, provided the enemy isn't immune to defense down. So, fantastic character. Get her on captain swap. There's not much else to say about her. She's so good and one of my favorite level Limit Breaks in a quite a hot minute, if I'm honest. Finally, the last character was Carrot. We're not going to talk about any other characters. Apparently, that was the last one. Cool. So, on to Sabo now. Sabo at the ASL batch, in my opinion, for an endgame player, did get the best treatment. I think, overall, Sabo's very, very good for an endgame player. However, for most mid-game and early game players, Luffy's probably going to be the character that you see more usage from. Luffy's despair removal with his special, on top of the bind removal and the paralysis removal in his kit, as a captain is so ridiculously powerful. Sabo is restricted to, obviously, quick sight and cerebrals, and what makes him really good is, like, Super Boss, he basically replaces Ben Beckman Lucky Roo, but he doesn't really replace any other unit, like, in regular play. Like, for the quick cerebral team, he's not really going to go on and be that sort of go-to character. But he does have a very interesting mechanic that if you use a chain boost, he auto-procs his special. Or if you use a chain multiplicative buff, you get the auto-proc to get around special blind. I feel like that is going to be very, very handy for a lot of new players, especially as a friend captain. Because if you activate any chain boost, the next turn you can get special blind removal. If you know you're going to get special blind on the whole crew, it's a free special that you can just automatically proc to actually get around that, which is very, very powerful. It's very, very valuable, and this guy is a very, very good unit for actually doing that. So it's good in Grand Voyage. You can definitely get some stuff done with him, but I do think he's probably at the top end of S tier all-rounder. Very similar to what Rayleigh Gaban's going to do with that switchability and then removing special blind. I think that Sabo does sit somewhere there for most mid-game to early-game players. For end-game players, I would say he's probably above Luffy, but you got to remember, this is sort of like a generic tier that goes across the board for everyone, across all aspects of the game. And whilst I'm not a big fan of stalling per se, Luffy can still see definite play as a sailor, getting the craziness with his chain multiplier, as well as all of those shenanigans with the utility that he can provide. Even, like, it depends on the content, obviously, but, like, in long content, he's just an absolute demon. So, I do think for mid-game to early game to even, like, mid-late game, Luffy's probably going to see more value, but that doesn't mean Sabo's bad. He's a very good captain, 5.4 when you have a matching orb. He partners up with this ace exceptionally well because of that auto-triggering ability. Obviously, he partners up with this Luffy exceptionally well as well, and he's basically the captain that you want for the team. But in saying that, like, for Super Boss, we didn't really use him that much. Like, he was on my team. He was the captain at one point. But he sort of dropped off pretty quickly once we found another team that could work, like, better. But some of my alliance members were using him for hit their versus int team. So that was actually something to note as well. So, very, very good character. But, probably not where some of these characters actually are. Saying that, though, still very, very good, but just no utility in the captain. He only really provides a chain boundary as well. He does have utility with damage reduction, but like I said, I think he's probably on par with Rayleigh Gaban. And Rayleigh Gaban, whilst their switch ability has been so good for Roger, I haven't really used it that much, or as much as I thought I would be really using it per se. Next, we've got Shanks Crew 6+. Shanks Crew 6+, I should have dropped them last month from S tier sub. Now I'm going to drop them to A tier level limit break. Honestly, as a captain, like, they're still so good. I'm probably going to make them A tier captain, or even S tier captain if I'm honest. I'm probably going to make them an S tier captain. Yeah, I think I'm going to make them an S tier captain because they're a 5.25 rainbow captain. 4.75 is Shanks. 4.5 is the crew. They're fantastic. Now, I'm got a bit of salt in my mouth because I did want a little bit more from this unit. They become a 3.75 chain lock for 3 turns. And then if your captain is Psy, they're a 3-turn color affinity at 2.25. If your captain is quick, they're a base stat booster at 1000 rainbow for 3 turns. So you can get a lot of damage with this unit over 3 turns, depending on what you need and depending on what your captain is. They work great on a Psy team. They work great on a quick team. And as a captain, they have special one removal, which is just exceptional. It's probably one of the best utility you can actually give a unit. That and attack down, in my opinion. Or attack down and bind. So I don't want to undersell what you can do with this guy as a captain. To put it in perspective, this guy, when you're in their dual form, is the same as Rayleigh Gaban in their dual form with a matching orb. So 5.25 is nothing to scoff at on top of utility. Plus, you can do end of turn damage. And for newer players that are trying to get through the game, if you can get Shanks' special off and then use the end of turn damage, you can just wave clear. Like, you can just do so much damage as long as there are no normal attacks only, and this guy will carry you through most forests. So, he's very good, and I don't want to undersell what Shanks Crew 6+ provides, but I did want to see more. I would have loved to see Special Blind in his special. As a Sailor, he completely removed Special Blind, so I think that would have been a very nice touch to remove Special Blind like 7 turns in his special. I would have loved to have seen his Chain Lock turn into a Chain Boundary, exactly like what they did with Kuzen and Jack, but they didn't. They just made it 3.75. Whilst the color affinity is nice, if you partner him up with Roger, Roger's already doing the color affinity if you literally just switch with Shanks Crew. The downside to Shanks Crew 2 is they didn't change his switch ability, so it's exactly the same, which they could have given like the Rayleigh Gaban treatment with the overrideable attack boost, which would have worked exceptionally with Roger, but they didn't. So there was just a lot of things that I wanted, and maybe I had too high expectations for this unit. But in saying that, I do want to give them credit, because they are an absolute demon for, like, the hardest, in inverted quotations, the hardest Grand Voyage being local sea monster. Cat Viper and Dogstorm kind of already decimated that, but now with Shanks crew as well, like, it's just not even fair. So they're still really good for majority of content. The one place that they're going to struggle is like Super Boss. They're going to struggle with Super Boss and doing those high damage numbers because chain locks are a bit of a debuff nowadays. And also in Treasure Map, you're probably not going to see like much play with this character unless you just need that special blind removal. But like if you're talking like arenas, if you're talking forests, regular Colosseums and clashes, this guy, and even like 1-star, like one team versus all early star 10-star Kazunas, like this guy is going to be an absolute weapon because special mind removal, very, very good. End-turn damage, resilience, getting around, it's just, they're great. They're a great 6+. I just kind of wanted a little bit more from the character. Moving on to Hawkins and Killer now. I haven't really had too much of a chance to play with these characters, so I do apologize if I do misjudge them, but they do seem kind of cool. I'm going to start with Killer. I feel like Killer should have come out about 9 months ago. Now, that might be being a little bit harsh, but Killer works exceptionally well alongside Kid. The way Killer works is you use his special. As long as you're below a certain HP threshold, you get a base stat boost at 1250 and an overrideable attack boost. Once you use Kid's special, Kid gives you an attack boost, but if you have an attack boost, he's actually an orb boost. So alongside Killer, you can get attacks and orbs, as well as the base stats and the tap timing that Kid can provide as well. Then Killer obviously triggers the super tandem of Kid. However, Killer's a final tap unit, so you kind of want to tap with Killer last, which is kind of like weird. So like if you tap with Killer and then like get the final tap and the super tandem for like that one tap, or do you just like try and build the team out and just get the super tandem every other turn? So it's a bit wonky with what they want to do. Kid with his super tandem sets defense to 0, and then Killer gives you a conditional boost to defense down. So they do work exceptionally well together, but like I just think Kid is just the better of the two. Like the much better of the two. When you hybrid the two up together, works exceptionally well, but I think Killer is just going to be like the sub that goes underneath Kid. You can definitely use him as a captain. He's definitely going to work really well as a captain, but I feel as a sub or as a friend captain with Kid, you are going to get the most value out of Killer. I'm not overly sold on the unit. I haven't really taken him into that much content. I haven't really had a chance to do so because I've been preparing for Japan and doing all these videos and stuff like that. So I am sort of just running off what I've seen and how I know, playing the game for quite a while. But I don't own Killer myself, so I can't really make a full judgment. But if you have Killer and you think he's better than this, let me know in the comment section below. Finally, we've got Hawkins. V2 Hawkins is an interesting character, and I do like that they do this. Like you know me, I do like interesting units. I was a big fan of when Sengoku came out. I was a big fan of the intricacy of Corazon and Law, and when they were doing those like fun shenanigans in the game. The downside is like you don't really see like too much of a use for them. And the way Hawkins works is if you use 4 crewmate specials. I learned that it's crewmate specials, not your entire crew. Your crewmates, so the 4 crewmates, if you use their specials, you can then extend the orb boost for 1 turn and get like damage null for 2 turns. That's pretty cool, but like normally like that's only going to be good for death damage, and like he's like super type is going to be like the big drawing point because he removes special blind. So for me, I think he's an S tier captain, but honestly 99% of the time for running cerebral side teams, I'm going to run Shanks. Like I'm going to run Shanks crew like 5.25 without a super type and special blind removal all the time is going to be my go-to. But the super type is an attack boost for Scion Int. He's a Scion Int booster. But then he wants to be at high HP, low HP to get the 5.25. The final tap does more damage when you're at high HP, not low HP. And then he has like some other shenanigan in his special when you're at low HP. So he's a bit of a wonky character. He's not a bad character at all, but he's just not something that I would chase per se. Plus it's Hawkins. Nobody fucking likes Hawkins, let's be real. And honestly, if you're probably summoning for the 2, you're probably going to be summoning for Killer, because Killer's just a cooler character. In saying that though, Killer should have come out like as a treasure map character just after Kid. But that's going to wrap up the tier list for the mid to start game players and everyone else in between, you know. So that's going to wrap up the tier list for this month. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree, you disagree. If you like it, you don't like it, let me know. I love to have a chat about this sort of stuff. Keep it friendly, keep it fun, keep it free, you know. But if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the big red subscribe button. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.